Greetings, everyone. Greetings to my subscribers and greetings to future subscribers. I'm here today with a question, a very important question. And that question is, does God have a chosen people? Does God have a chosen people in this world? Does God that created every human being on earth, created everything on earth, have a favorite group, a group that God favors? Because if that is true, the reason I'm asking this question is because the Christians maintain that Israel, the Israelis, not the Israelites of the Bible, I maintain that if at all they were a chosen people, the Bible is referring to the Israelites of the Bible. And that's a totally different group from the Israelis of today. But anyway, so my question, I go back to my question. Does God the Almighty, the God that we're told that is full of love, impartial, that is measured, everything God knows, everything God is full of empathy, right? That God has a chosen people. If that is true, if the Christians are true, are right, then it means that the God they're presenting to us is a partial God. The God they're presenting to us, if it is true that God made everybody and then have a chosen people, that God is partial. That God is responsible for the calamities we have in this world. And yes, I know what I'm talking about. Because if it is true that God favors a group of people over others, gives them more right over others to take land and to do whatever they want in this world, and then be supported by the Christians, then I say that that God has set us up in this world for failure. I say that that God is not what we're told that he or she or it is. Because if you have children and then you tell your children that this particular child of mine I favor this child over you all, how would you feel? It sets up for some kind of bad blood between siblings. Now going back to the chosen people conundrum in this world. Now, according to the Christian Bible, according to the Bible, the Israelis maintain the Christians are the chosen people of God. And that is the reason that no matter what Israel does, they have unquestionable support, full support, unconditional support from Christians, from Christian nations, from European Christian nations, right? And in fact, Christians around the world, because they believe in this notion that the chosen people of God should be special, right? And they are given special treatment. This is not good. And I'm here to say that if really God is full of love and want us to succeed in this world, God cannot have a chosen people, because that does not augur well for humanity. And it hasn't actually. If you go to the root of the problem in the Middle East, it is the fact that the Israelis claim that land was promised to them by God. This is a historical fact in the Bible. But then it carries on to the modern age where people still believe that a group of people have been chosen by God and then they have the right to land that other people have been living on for thousands of years. Now, I'm just asking this question so that we can really go to the root of things. If we really want to have peace in this world, is for us to look at each other as equals in the eye of God. Because if you start saying that some people are favored by God, then that God, I do not believe in that God. I believe that the God that created the universe, the God that created every human being on earth, cannot be partial. The God that created everything that exists is above human quarrel. And therefore, that's the God I believe. So when I keep saying that the God of the Bible or the God of the Christian is not adding up for me, I categorically refuse for anyone to call me an atheist. You define your God, I define my God. I just don't agree with the God you're presenting to me with all the qualities you are attaching to it. In fact, my definition of God exalts God, gives a wider view of God. The Christian definition of God belittles God, personifies God, narrows God almost to this earth. So if you look at it, my view of God is actually giving God the status, the position God deserves. Because that means that God is bigger than having human traits like anger, jealousy, favoring some people or others or over others, setting condition for you to go to hell or heaven, or expecting you to bow down to it. Because God, the God that I believe, does not have time for you to prostrate or bow down to it or worship it. It has other things to do. So, yeah, if you guys, please give me your thoughts and ideas. Because this idea of the chosen people it's a problem for the world, and we need to look at it in this modern time. Thank you.